Hey guys, this is Legolas Fanboy, and welcome to Buried. Now, as you can see here, it says Buried is an interactive story. The plot will change based on the choices you make. The story is broken into 5 chapters, play straight through at your own pace. Enjoy and choose wisely. Now, I've heard about this game. It's supposed to be a little bit of a horror story, maybe a little bit just more of an adventure story, kind of a combination of the two. I've seen some other people play it, and it looks like it's really, really interesting, so I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's go. I open my eyes, and the first thing I want to do is scream. I'm flat on my back, and everything seems to hurt. The trees overhead look familiar. It's a clear night sky, almost beautiful. Except for the fact that this means I've been out cold for at least 6 hours. But there's something wrong. I don't remember what, but something happened, and my head. My God, my head hurts, and a ringing in my ears. Was there an accident? An explosion? I think. I remember Dennis screaming, but after that, I can't remember. As I sit up, I notice that my hard hat has been thrown off. I look around the area, but it's not here. It feels strange to go anywhere without my hard hat, but I've got to find the other members of the crew. They could be in danger. Well, it seems really uncomfortable without the hat for some reason, so maybe it'll help us later on. I get up on shaky legs and look around for a moment. A few nearby trees look to have been splintered and broken at the base recently. They certainly weren't like this earlier. Searching for the hard hat feels normal. It makes me feel like maybe there isn't something wrong here. I see it behind a fallen log, about 10 feet away from me. How it was thrown so far is beyond me. Driven by nothing more than habit, I walk over to it, pick it up, and place it on my head. Next, I walk over to the center of the logging site, and don't like what I see. That doesn't look good. The logging site looks like a bomb was detonated right in the center. I don't know where to start. The one load we had managed to stack on a truck for the day is overturned, the trailer bent, and the logs hanging off the back. Where the hell is everyone? My head is killing me, and this ringing in my ears. I can't hear anything. Not birds, not my footsteps, nothing. It makes me wonder if I hit my head after my hard hat flew off. I run through a quick mental checklist to make sure my brain is still working. My name is Roger Hastings. I'm 41 years old. The year is 2017. I own a small logging company, and we've been logging in this strip of Kentucky woodland for almost a month now. Okay, so my brain works. That's a relief, but it also makes me fearful, because something is certainly not right here. I look around the logging site, my mind trying to figure out what was happening. Just about every piece of equipment has been overturned or tilted. Let's head to the debris, look at the truck. The truck had our stuff on it. Maybe someone was loading the stuff there. I'm just gonna go to the truck, see if we can find some crew members that might have been working at the time. The truck. The hitch is completely broken, like it was blown off in an explosion or a really bad accident. Had there been an explosion, all of the fuel on site would have started a fire. But there's no charring, no burning, nothing. I walked through the area where Dennis had been working. From the looks of it, he'd been moving slowly. He'd only taken down 4 trees today. His metal lunchbox is open and indicated that he'd been taking an early break. But he's not here. No one is here. Where the hell is everyone? I could try to make a call on my cell phone, but its battery's already running really low. Not that it matters. The reception out here is crap. I'm just gonna yell out instead, just because I might be able to use a cell phone later. So let's just try that. See what happens here. Hey, guys! Where is everyone? Tony? Dennis? Frank? Joe? But their names fall flat among the wreckage. I get nothing back other than scaring a few birds overhead. Might as well start walking and try to find some answers. The highway is almost a mile back through the woods, down the gravel road we used to reach the site. Maybe the crew ran that way for help. But why would they have left me? Were they scared? Out of sorts? Maybe I can catch up to them, but with my truck turned over on its side, it looks like I'll be walking. My god, I can't even remember what I was doing before waking up on my back. Wait, what's that underneath the bulldozer? Oh my god, it's a leg. It has to be either Tony or Dennis. The dozer looks unstable, like it might just roll some more. Might not be safe to get close, but at the same time, I can't just leave him there. You know, if he's hurt and I can't do anything with it, I'm just going to be hurting him more. And the only thing I can think of is that maybe it's just a leg. Maybe the body's been crushed if all I can see is a leg. So I think I'm just going to stay back and hope for the best here. There's no use putting myself at risk. That thing could tumble again. It's pretty clear that he didn't survive. Damn. He had 2 kids, too. Both sons. In my shock, I stumble back, suddenly tripping over a stray log behind me. The hard hat I'm wearing collides with it as I fall, doing its job. But what's more startling is realization that Tony is dead. I can't stay here. I have to find Dennis, Frank, and Joe. I have to find out what happened here. Now see, he even just realized that Tony is dead, and maybe we'll just come back to get him at the end, or when we get help, if someone's around to help us, that they'll be able to collect the body afterwards. God, I feel bad for his kids though, too. Interesting stacks of wood. That's cool. As I walk through the stacks of logs from the last week or so of work, everything feels frozen. This high-pitched sound in my ears. It's terrible. It keeps happening every few seconds and sounds like it's coming from far away. I can't help but wonder, is it my ears or is it something else? The silence out here is creepy, and there's a smell. Like the atmosphere after a bad summer storm. I might as well admit it. I'm a little scared. Everyone is missing and it's dead quiet out here. There doesn't even seem to be a breeze to rustle the leaves and branches. My right knee hurts like hell. My head was hurting so bad before that I never even noticed the pain in my knee. I must have heard it during the... well... during what? Accident or... Wait, is that Dennis? I see him sitting on the ground, motionless, about 30 feet away. Go up to him. If you notice him that well from 30 feet away, it's probably him. He's just sitting there, not moving. I slowly walk up next to him. Dennis? Hey man, can you hear me? I tap him on the shoulder. He looks up at me from the ground, clearly coming out of a daze. Yeah, Roger, I hear you, he says. Dennis is built like a wrestler and has a tough personality to match. But in this moment, he looks disoriented and even a little anxious. Though I'm glad to see him, the fear on his usually confident face is alarming. What the hell happened? What's going on, he asks. Don't know, the crew is missing. An explosion, I think. Well, you know it's not an explosion of the normal sorts because you said there was no charring and none of the fuel was burnt. I'm just gonna go with it. Don't know if the crew's missing because honestly, I have no idea what's going on. Missing, Dennis says. Where do you think they went? I'm not sure, I say, but it has me pretty freaked out. Something's not right here. Still sitting on the ground, he looks around the woods as if he is just now understanding the severity of the situation. The equipment was overturned. The dozers too, I say, shifting my hard hat and wiping my forehead. You okay? I ask him. Yeah, just shaken up. Me too. This might be the most intimate conversation Dennis and I have ever had. While he and I have always been on good terms, we've never been particularly close. I've always respected him, though. Sure, he comes to work a few times looking like he'd been in a bar fight the night before. But I've also seen him do an enthusiastic impression of a dinosaur as he played with Tony's kids while they were waiting for their dad to finish up his shift. It's then that it hits me. Dennis and Tony were good friends. I'm not sure I want to rattle him with the news of Tony's death right now. Not before we know what's going on. But he has a right to know. Oh man, do I tell one of my crew members that their friend is dead and hope he doesn't flip out? Jeez. I don't want to stress him out anymore. I'm not gonna mention Tony. He didn't tell Dennis about Tony's death. Well, apparently that was an important one. It's good to find someone else, I say. I don't think I need to bring up Tony quite yet. The two of them were close, almost like brothers. He'd take it hard. Yeah, he says. Hey, he adds nervously, looking around at the ground. Did you see that light? No, I say. What did you see? I don't even know, Roger. It was like the flare of a white light. It came right up out of the ground, like an explosion. So there was an explosion, I say. Maybe it was some equipment or... This was no equipment, Dennis interrupts, agitated. This huge ball of light came right out of the damn ground. What did it look like? Where'd it go? If it came out of the ground, I assume it just shot up in the air, so what did it look like? Look like something looking into the sun, he says. It just feels like someone stabbed me in the eyes with a hot knife. When? I'm not sure, he answers. But I had finished about 10 trees for the day, and was about to top one. That's when it happened. You were almost done with 10 trees? I asked. Yeah, he says, looking at the ground. You know, I wouldn't want to take a lunch break until I was done. And that's when that light blew up? Why? You don't believe me? I believe you. I have a reason to be mean to him. Yeah, he might be exaggerating, but I don't think that's important right now. He saw what he saw, I think to myself. He has no reason to lie about this. My God, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, he says, but if I'm being honest, it scared me pretty bad. And if it's all the same to you, I'd like to get the hell out of here. We both stand up and start heading towards the road. It isn't until we start moving that I see Dennis is wounded. His right side is coated in blood, the red seeping through his blue work shirt. There are splatters of it here and there, but also a very large red splotch that makes me worry. Are you in a lot of pain? How'd you get that injury? You probably got the injury from the explosion, dude. Just ask him if he's okay. Are you in a lot of pain? I've been better. I don't know how much longer I can stay on my feet, he says. What happened? I ask. I'm not sure, Dennis replies. I must have gotten thrown or hurt somehow from that light. It's then that I notice that the strange ringing noise is still filling the air. Hey, I say, stopping. Do you hear that high-pitched ringing noise every once in a while? Dennis looks scared when I ask him this question, and he just nods. I thought it was just me, he says. He looks out of sorts and uncertain. I've never seen him like this before. It's obvious that he's looking for some reassurance. Even though I'm his boss, there's something very unnerving about this. We'll be okay. It's probably nothing. It's freaking me out. These are two good ones. Just assume the best that it's nothing? Or be honest with him and let him know you're freaking out. Again, I don't want to scare him. Let's just say it's gonna be okay. It's probably nothing. Let's be realistic, I tell myself. I might as well try to be empathetic. Out here in the middle of these woods, there could be anything. Maybe a car alarm from through the woods or something. Still, even my passive comment seems to have reassured Dennis. He looks a bit calmer, more relaxed. We both start moving forward and don't say another word. Did you try to call Frank? Dennis asks. I know he had his cell on him today. Not yet. Luckily, I still have some battery left. I pull out my cell and call Frank. Happy I didn't make that call to Dennis earlier. It rings, but he doesn't pick up. But then I hear his phone go off, behind the stack of logs. Dennis and I give each other a look. As the phone goes to voicemail, I hang up, and we walk behind the logs to find Frank's phone on the ground, abandoned. We look around for Frank, but find nothing, not a single trace. It's then that I notice something really odd. A 10-foot wide hole in the ground, right near where the phone was. But there's no stray piles of removed dirt or rocks. It's clean, smoothly dug, cutting into the earth. Wide, but only a few feet deep. It looks unnatural, like the ground was just deleted, no shovels or diggers used. Dennis walks over to it. This looks like the same kind of hole where I saw that light come from the ground, he muses to himself. I say nothing. My mind is spinning, but I don't know what to think. We need to get out of here, Dennis mutters. At that moment, the ringing noise carries through the forest again, sending a shiver down my spine. Dennis is right. There's something strange going on, and we might not be safe here. But that ringing sound could be a clue to where the rest of the crew went. Let's check out the sound. I agree, let's get away from here. My innate sense of curiosity really wants me to go check out the sound, but I'm also afraid it might just be our heads. It's like tinnitus from obviously some sort of explosion. Let's go check it out. Let's go check out the sound. Maybe it's actually something. You decided to check out the sound. Something's not right, I say. And if there's a mechanical noise like that, you think someone is out here, he asks? Maybe. I think we should at least check it out. They might be able to help. Yeah, you go right ahead, he says with a grin. I'll be here waiting for you. Better hurry, though. Dennis doesn't look like he's in the best shape to be trouncing around the forest, but we need some answers right away, too. Don't go alone. Always go with a friend. Come on, Dennis, let's go. You decided to bring Dennis along. No, you're coming with me. I bend over and hoist him up against my shoulder. He resists just barely and then gives in. He's looking at me like he's terrified of me now, making a moan in his throat. We start moving through the woods quickly, with no idea where the rest of the crew is. I worry that they could be in danger. Every tree out here looks exactly the same. I grew up in the country and can find my way around the forest without much of a problem, but I'm feeling dizzy. I'm leaning against a tree when I see something that has no business being out here. Our logging crew has been out here for 3 weeks, and I've never seen it before. I wonder what it is. Ooh. Wow. It's a house? A really weird building? It's a small building, sort of like a mixture of a shack and a bunker. It looks to be made of concrete, but moss, weeds, and plain old erosion also make it look like sort of mystical. It looks like something out of a demented version of a medieval fantasy movie. What the hell is this? Dennis asks. I have no idea. It's some old power station. Yeah, but you said it was out of place. It has no business being here. It can't just be a power station. You purchased this land, right, boss? Dennis asks. Didn't you survey it? I certainly did, I say, getting a little defensive. But this wasn't here. Do you think the others maybe went in here? He asked nervously. Why would they do that? I ask. I don't know, but they have to be somewhere. I want to go inside, not just to find my crew, but also to appease my curiosity. That ringing noise is coming from inside. But something about this place seems incredibly strange, especially located all by itself out here. I bet these folks don't get many trick-or-treaters, Dennis jokes weakly before attempting a half-hearted chuckle. This building simply does not belong. I wonder, do we knock or just go in? Dennis asks. I can tell that he is trying to make a joke, but it falls flat. I'm starting to think his humor is a defense mechanism for his fear. It happens to a lot of us, man. We both look ahead, take a moment to realize what we're about to do, and start forward. We get no more than 3 feet closer when Dennis wobbles. Reach out and steady him. Don't just ask him. I reach out quickly, straining my injured knee. I barely make it in time, grabbing him under his arms and keeping him from hitting the ground. I don't want him to get hurt. I'm okay, he said. Just, can you help me walk for a little while? Just help me inside, please? I can't deny him his request. I've never seen him this weak, and it's a little uncomfortable to me to see. It makes me glad I decided to keep him with me. Yeah. I help Dennis into the weird little building. The front door opens easily, even though there's clearly a lock on it. Maybe the lock was supposed to keep someone in. It's hard to tell. I still hear that ringing noise. It's definitely coming from in here. Stretching out in front of me is a small interior to match the outside. The building is totally empty. There's a concrete floor and dingy, featureless walls. There are no windows, giving the place an even more isolated feel. Still, we hear the ringing noise coming from somewhere in here. It's louder now, more prominent. The interior seems confined at first, but a small set of concrete steps leads about 5 feet down, revealing a corridor. It's a nice looking corridor. It's a really good detail for a really cheap game. It's a massive corridor. In fact, like I'm in some kind of building underground. It seems to go on forever. This corridor is mostly dark with emergency lights every 10 feet or so. I assume we're now underground because this corridor extends far beyond the walls of the building we entered. I realize that someone might not appreciate finding us here. Tiptoe quietly, walk quickly. Walking quickly might alert someone that we're here. It's best to just go a little quietly at first, at least. I feel like a ghost, like I truly have no business being here. Dennis leans on me for support. We move slowly, our feet not making a sound. If anyone is in here, I want to make sure they don't hear us. We tiptoe forward as softly as we can. As I carry Dennis to the far end of the otherwise featureless place, I see a flight of concrete stairs leading down. I have to set Dennis down on the floor. His weight is killing me. Dennis, are you okay? Stop worrying, man, he says. I'll be okay. I just need a minute to rest. But looking at him, I'm not so sure. I can still hear the ringing noise every so often, coming from somewhere in here. I look ahead at the concrete stairs, pointing towards them so that Dennis sees them. Can you make it down those stairs? I ask. He stands up slowly and is visibly making an effort to not fall back down. Yeah, he says, and sounds a little irritated. He starts for the stairs without me, and I have no choice but to follow. We approach the stairs, and by just looking at them, I get the sense that we're crossing some sort of line here. There may very well be no going back. It's pretty intense, man. The detail in this stuff is amazing. As I head down the stairs, I notice that they look aged. That damn ringing noise is somewhere below, louder than ever. I feel like I'm walking down into the cellar of a haunted house, the light becoming scarce as the stairs take a slight turn. I can feel the temperature drop. Dennis makes it a few steps down before he's leaning on the wall. He's breathing like he just finished a marathon. Pause to give him a break. You want to keep him with you. Let's take a break, I say, putting my hand towards his shoulder to help steady him. Dennis lets out a sigh. Thanks, I don't feel too great, boss. As we both squat down on a stair, my mind seems to lock in on the unknown fate of the rest of my crew. Frank is married, and I've met his wife a few times, a nice woman with a huge laugh. My heart sags a bit when I realize I might not ever again get to hear him belting out classic rock tunes during lunch break. Joe? Well, I don't know too much about him. He's 22 years old and is considering community college. His folks are deadbeats, so he has been providing for himself since the age of 16 or so. Maybe I could still find them and still get to hear Frank singing in his deep baritone voice after a few too many drinks. After a few moments, Dennis says, "Alright, let's keep going." We both stand up, leaning on each other. I have to make Dennis stay behind me as I stick my foot out in search of the next step. I can't help feeling like a child as a very powerful fear seizes me. I'm expecting a monster to reach out of the darkness, slicing into my throat. After what feels like forever, we come to the bottom of the stairs. We're closer to that ringing noise now. A door sits securely in the wall and looks just as out of place here as I feel. A sliver of light seeps through, illuminating the area. The door has what looks like a panel with lots of labels and lights. Small embossed print above the panel says, Level 1 entrance gate, transport sector, and there's a button with no label. Just push the button or inspect the panel. The button might, I was just out of my own experiences, might be like a buzzer to alert someone on the other side of the door if the door naturally is locked. So we're still gonna go a little sneaky here, try to be a little quiet. I'm just gonna inspect the panel, see if I can do anything with it. The panel looks like a diagnostic or alert system of some kind. Each label meant to communicate some status. Lockdown engaged. Experiment in progress. Shutdown engaged. Those all appear to be off, but one of the phrases has a slow blinking red light next to it. The only powered light on this whole thing. Abnormal entity breach. What the hell? I slowly push the door open when Dennis suddenly steps in front of me, taking the lead. Let's go, he says. I want to find out what the hell this place is. As Dennis walks through, that ringing or beeping or whatever it is getting a little louder. The door closes behind us with a click. I can't help but notice the wobble in Dennis's step as he lets out a grunt. You sure you're healthy enough to keep going? I ask. It doesn't matter. I don't want to be in the woods right now. He seems scared, something I've never seen before. Angry, yes. Upset, yes. But Dennis is never scared. What do you see? What's so dangerous? What do you see, man? I know what's dangerous is being all here when you're not supposed to be. I don't know what it was, boss. It was like someone had left a radio on, crackling. But we don't have any radios at the site. It was... I don't know. It was like something in the forest was moving. I give him a doubtful look, and he casts his eyes to the ground, frustrated. I know how it sounds, he says, but I know what I felt. It was like walking into a funeral parlor, feeling death and gloom everywhere. I've been so preoccupied with my own fear that I nearly forgot about the ringing noise. It had become just background noise. We take a few more steps, and I can now see where we are. It makes no sense. Yet another thing that simply seems out of place. The shapes and muted colors of metal are easy to identify, but it doesn't belong here. End of chapter 1. Dang. So, woke up out of nowhere when we were supposed to be working. We think we were asleep for about 6 hours, which obviously is a long time, especially if you only work 8 or 10 hour days. One of our guys we assumed to be dead. We found another one of our guys who was injured. Luckily, we're not hurt that bad. I mean, nothing that we can tell from what we've been given in the story, but dang, that's just so much. It's just so intense. Like, just imagine just doing a normal day's worth of work and all of a sudden you black out and wake up and it's 6 hours later and you have no idea what's going on. No idea where your friends are, no idea of anything, and then they found this random place that isn't supposed to be there. They surveyed the land, and this wasn't there when they surveyed it. That's just crazy. Like, I understand missing a few things here and there, but an entire building? No, I know it's not a huge place, it's like a shack is what they were saying. But you don't just miss things like that, not when you're chopping down trees. If anything, you would find that and go, oh, let's not go over here because we don't own that part of the land, or something like that. But dang, that's really intense. This is going to be a really good story, I can tell. Anyway, I'm just going to leave this there for now. I will definitely be continuing this. I'm probably going to play it out to the end here. Man, this is just a good story. Alright. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you liked it, hit the like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment. Share this video. And as always, guys, have a rockin' day.